Hello and nice to see you again. As we know, our world never ceases to amaze us, and there are a huge number of amazing places and locations. Even though these places have been studied by scientists, historians, and archaeologists, some of them are so ancient or difficult to access that there are still more questions than answers. In this episode, you will see the most mysterious places and locations that were captured on camera. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to not miss our next episodes. As we all know, an accident at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant is a catastrophe on a global scale. Even though there are no mutant animals in the exclusion zone, there are a considerable number of people who create and support myths about creepy monsters that appeared as a result of exposure to radiation. For example, this huge creature of flesh without eyes and mouth. Perhaps local tourism should develop in this way. Anyway, almost 37 years have passed since the accident, but it still creates a lot of horror stories about mutants. In 1974, local people went to Mount Lishan to dig a new well there. Imagine how surprised they were when, instead of water, they found a lot of strange shards. After an excavation, they managed to find several dozen very ancient clay statues of warriors were found. And it was an incredible discovery of one of the most famous sites in the world, the terracotta army of Emperor Qi Shi Huang. Clay warriors were made by hand from parts which were then joined. They were hardened with fire, and that gave the name to this army, the Terracotta Army. As of today, many thousands of terracotta warriors make up the exposition of a huge museum with an area of 16 hectares, which opened right at the excavation site. Huge stone spheres have been found in the jungle on the island of Isla de Cano in Costa Rica. They were discovered by local workers during deforestation. They have been identified as artifacts belonging to the pre-Columbian culture. However, it is impossible to determine more precisely the time of creation of the mysterious objects due to the peculiarities of the local soil. In addition, they suffered due to changes in temperature and humidity, floods, hurricanes, and tropical storms. Scientists suggest that the Indians could have made the spheres a subject of a cult inspired by natural forms. The Grand Canyon is magnificent and huge. It covers an area of 446 kilometers with a depth of up to 1.6 kilometers and an average width of 16 kilometers. Being the most famous attraction, it attracts researchers, travelers, and people engaged in extreme sports. It is so large and poorly studied that there are still many rumors about its secret caves and artifacts that are hidden there. In addition, there is a group of ufologists who believe that a UFO crashed at the bottom of the still insufficiently explored 450-kilometer gorge, and humanoids roam there. Not far from the town of Cutwell, Alaska, an unusual igloo hotel was built. Igloo is the winter dwelling of the Eskimos. The hotel has not accepted a single guest yet. It was fully completed in the 1970s, but did not work a day due to violations of building codes. However, even though this building has never been used, the igloo is still a tourist attraction. In addition, it is so large that it can even be seen from an airplane flying over it. At first glance, this is an unremarkable town near San Francisco called Colma. However, it is also called the City of the Dead or City of Souls for a reason. The thing is that there are 1,000 times fewer living locals here than dead ones. At the end of the 19th century, people from nearby big cities began to be buried here, and even old graves from San Francisco were moved here. Residents of the city are in most cases employees of funeral homes or offer related services. Are you tired of the city noise? Then you'll be interested in this place. This is the quietest room in the world. The record time spent there is only 45 minutes. The fact is that in total silence, most people eventually begin to develop mental disorders. This small room is located in Minneapolis. It is insulated with thick layers of concrete and steel that do not let in noise from the outside, and it is finished with sound-absorbing panels located at different angles. Even the floor here is a stretched net, dampening the sound of footsteps. This place is included in the Guinness Book of Records since 99.9% of sounds are absorbed here. In the valleys of the Himalayas along the Chinese border, there are mysterious stone towers. Some of these high-rise structures, built of stones almost without the use of cement mortar, stand in the middle of villages, while others can be found in secluded mountain valleys. The height of these towers, built in the shape of a star, reaches 60 meters, and the age varies from 600 to 700 years. Unfortunately, it has not yet been possible to study their history and structure properly because access for foreigners has been closed for many years, and the local climate is not very suitable for research. 70 kilometers west of La Paz, high in the Andes, one can find the mysterious ruins of Pumapunku. These giant granite blocks are scattered over a huge area. Archaeologists still cannot understand why and what the Pumapunku was, what it looked like, and for what purpose this gigantic structure could serve. Its details are created with incredible precision. Most scientists believe that the blocks were carved by hand using primitive stone tools. It is also impossible to determine the purpose of the buildings. It could be a sacred place with a temple complex, or even an ancient city. The Plain of Jars in Laos is not only a tourist attraction, but also a mystery for scientists. Thousands of giant megalithic vessels are scattered across mountain valleys and lower foothills of the central plain of the Sinquang Plateau. The vessels are similar in shape to jars, while their sizes are striking. They can be up to 3 meters in height and up to 6 tons in weight. Most likely, the Plain of Jars is an ancient cemetery. It is not yet possible to study these objects in detail. The most interesting thing is that during the Vietnam War, a large number of bombs were dropped in this area, so it is still dangerous to conduct further research here. Going to a ski resort, people carefully think over their clothing in order to feel as comfortable as possible in the cold. But it turns out that not only people need special clothing in the mountains. In this video, resort staff in Switzerland cover the slopes of Mount Titlis in the Alps with blankets. Moreover, the area of the covered slopes is not less than 100,000 square meters, and it takes about 6 weeks to cover it. The fabric reflects the hot sun rays and insulates the snow cover. Because of this, the snow melts more slowly. At first glance, you might think that it's snow covering the surface of Lake Belander. In fact, what floats on the surface of several polluted lakes in the Indian city of Bengaluru is actually toxic foam. Untreated sewage and chemical waste were drained into the waters of the reservoir for a long time without proper waste treatment. During the rains, toxic water flows form a thick layer of foam that rises above the lake and spreads due to the wind. Stepped wells are often distinguished by the incredible complexity of architecture and magnificent decoration. However, Chand Baori truly stands out. It is located in the small village of Abonari. The main structure was created between the 9th and 11th centuries. Its depth is just over 30 meters, and there are 3,500 steps. Like other step wells, Chand Baori served to preserve ground and rainwater. Due to its depth, the temperature at the lowest level always remains 5 to 6 degrees colder than on the surface. Today, the greenish waters of the reservoir do not seem attractive to visitors, and only the most desperate dare to take a sip. This mysterious giant stone is simply called Krishna's butterball. This boulder can be found in the city of Mahabalipuram in India on a hillside near the Ganesha Ratha temple. Most of all, it attracts everyone's attention because it defies gravity. It weighs over 250 tons and balances wonderfully on the extremely slippery surface of the hill. What is even more surprising, the stone has been in this place for more than 1,200 years. In Japan, near the city of Beppu, there is a striking red lake, also called Blood Lake. There is a constant haze of steam above it because the water here is about 90 degrees. And it brings us closer to the thoughts about the mystical origin, but everything is explained quite simply. Scientists have found that the cause of the red color in the reservoir is iron oxide at the bottom of the lake. As for the high temperature, the magma of the active geyser, which is located in an underwater cave, is directly involved here. Many tourists are constantly striving to see such a frightening sight. Traveling around Thailand, you will see the same image in guidebooks and postcards. This is the head of the Buddha woven into the roots of a tree. Wat Mahathat Temple was built in the 14th century, but in 1767, during the invasion of the city by the Burmese army, it was completely destroyed. There was an unusual statue of Buddha sitting on a throne made of green stone. As a result of the invasion, it was buried under the rubble and only appeared to the world after centuries, woven into the roots of a tree. The medieval monument of the Buddha has become one of the main shrines of Ayutthaya, and the head in the tree is one of the most recognizable symbols of the country. This stone, which is supposedly perfectly sawn by laser into two parts, is located in Saudi Arabia and is called Al-Nasla. It is still unclear how the halves managed to keep their balance for such a long time. The parts of the stone are not subject to movement, and the distance between them always remains the same. There are several assumptions about how it happened. Fans of legends and conspiracy believe that this is the creation of ancient gods or aliens. Others talk about the forgotten technologies of ancient civilizations. Most likely, Al-Nasla split into two parts many centuries ago in a natural way, and then it was honed by wind and water for thousands of years. I hope you liked our video. Please don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode.